All right, welcome back to Straight No Chaser, episode 3. I'm your host, Alex Svensson, with co-host Abhi Patel and Jake Nielsen. So we're going to start off our episode with Abhi's going to bring a topic to the table. Do you want to get going, Abhi?
What's up, guys? My topic for the week comes from the World Economic Forum. Really great websites, great YouTube channel, great social media. I highly recommend them to any human being on the planet right now because they're focused on the future.
What about the
But
illiterate ones?
I think even illiterate people can find their way on Instagram nowadays. It's all pictures. Come on. Let's be real here. But overall, uh, more specifically, Global Economic Forum had a feature about a company called Cubex Global. So they use blockchain technology to track space within storage containers that are being shipped across the world. So typically before until this company came around, about $24 billion were lost a year in just empty shipping space. Like, if all those empty shipping containers could have been filled, that's like $24 billion of goods that were lost. And then the other kind of crazy statistic behind this is that it saves I think about 100 tons in terms of emissions.
That's
Like,
awesome.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah,
That's so
because
cool.
when you get down to more the business aspect of it, it's really cool because since they use blockchain is a really new technology, and not many people have figured out how to implement it at a mass scale. And there are two reasons for that. So the way blockchain works is it's a very secure way to track transactions. It creates miners, and whenever a transaction happens, it creates a block. That's why it's called blockchain. So like, you transfer money from like Bitcoin to someone else, that runs on blockchain. Uh, for that chain to be created and for that transaction to happen, it requires multiple different servers from multiple different people to create miners. First one that gets there creates the block. That takes an insane amount of energy. So that's a huge issue with blockchain. It takes a lot of energy. So this startup, Cubex Global, has solved this problem of how to implement blockchain on a mass scale. They use blockchain to track storage space within containers, and they can sell it to multiple different businesses. So basically, any shipping containers that have empty space, you can go through Cubex Global, find space, and get your product in. You could be sharing with other businesses, or you might not be. The World Economic Forum chose them as the Ocean Innovation Award winner in a competition called the Umpling Ocean Solution Sprint. And that was sponsored by Salesforce, Deloitte, and LinkedIn. So basically, this place, Cubex Global, they've done two things. They've created a modern way to use blockchain in an industry that has seen very little innovation, which is shipping and maritime transportation. And they've also found a way to make the world a greener place. They've created sustainable and advanced business. It's pretty wild.
So basically, the idea of this company is that they sell open space on cargo ships to companies that don't need as much space or open spaces that are available on these ships. Are they at reduced prices or same prices?
I don't actually know shipping prices because I've never had to ship anything, but
Okay, that's a
they
cool
uh
idea.
they do sell open space within containers, and it might not necessarily be a business. Like, if you're an individual, like, online
Yeah,
dropship seller, you could probably. I have a feeling those people would really benefit from Cubex. Like, it's pretty innovative stuff, and it's really modern.
yeah. My one thing is, how does a blockchain help them like fill these containers? Is it like real time? Is it like able to fill them quicker than like a normal transaction base would? That's like the one part I don't get about it.
Well, I think what blockchain does for them is through blockchain, they can record who's taking orders through them.
Okay.
And then on top of that, in blockchain, they can also track orders from filled containers.
It's probably
So-
also more secure too for their customers. If I had to guess.
Yeah, by tracking weight and knowing the full weight a shipping container can hold, I'm guessing that's how they know how much open space there is.
That's awesome. That's a really good business idea. I love it.
I mean, that information probably isn't public because that's their.
Yeah, but hey, if
That's
it's a
how
green,
they
if
succeed.
it's a green solution using cutting edge technology, I'm all for them.
It's the future of business,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Green
absolutely.
technology and technology that makes a ton of money for a lot of people.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
I agree with that. I
love
think that's also why businesses should invest in green tech and like renewable like sources of energy as well,
Shut up.
Yeah.
because it's like a lot more sustainable for business.
No, well,
I think
people are wrong because nuclear is going to be needed for the transition to green technologies. You can't create enough energy in the current day from green technologies because they're intermittent, meaning they're a lot harder to store for long periods of time. So you need nuclear.
Depends where you
You
are.
need nuclear on the table.
I mean, in
I don't
terms
think
of
a lot
of
sustainability,
A lot
there
of
are like
countries function without nuclear, and they have like a lot of energy and a huge economy.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
have to
a lot
sell
of-
their energy to other countries and then take in the other country's energy at night because they can't. The biggest problem with the green energy that we're seeing right now is that because it's intermittent, meaning the sun doesn't shine when it's not above them, is that it is harder to store in batteries. Like they are starting to make better batteries, but it's still not at the capability that you need like weeks of energy on hand for nations to run if anything was to happen.
well,
Just
what
have
you're
the
getting
solar
at is
structure.
that green energy can't be stored.
Yeah.
Like there's no way to store green energy. Like with wind power, as you harness wind power, you got to direct it and let it be used. If it doesn't get
Exactly.
used,
That's true with
it
wind.
goes into nothing.
That's what
But,
I'm saying.
Well,
It's true
so
with
you have to
it's true
pay
with
other people
most
to use
green
it.
energy.
With solar, it is not true that it has to be sunny for solar to work because 70% of the sun's rays still come through the clouds. And also,
But it
energy-
is true that solar is hard to
Intermittent.
store. Like very
Well, yeah,
few
but I'm
people
talking
can
more
store
like-
solar energy.
I'm talking about it's true with some like hydroelectric you kind of have to use kind of quickly, but also like with dams and stuff you can make like a huge source of power
Yeah.
with one area, and then
That's my biggest problem though,
geothermal.
is that the people who say that
Geothermal.
green energies are the only option you can have on the table are just wrong. You need nuclear on the table.
No, it's not the only.
You have
You
to
don't.
I
diverge
see
need-
nuclear
away.
as something that's green, honestly. It's not bad for the environment unless something goes
Ow.
terribly wrong.
I don't know,
Unless
dude.
something goes
the
wrong,
radioactive
it's bad for the
half-life.
environment.
Chernobyl.
The radioactive
something
material
goes
half-life
wrong,
is like
it's bad for the-
125,000 years,
I'm
man.
If
not
nothing,
for-
if nothing goes wrong, it's not bad for the environment.
It's a hell of
That's
a
fair. That's a fair statement.
responsibility to hand down from
You shouldn't be
generation
having
to
nuclear.
generation.
Yeah, but what if you have nuclear in places that have earthquakes, like in Japan? Like that fucked them up.
Well, the thing
It still
about
has to be on the table, though.
energy is energy, agriculture, two biggest things that use up carbon.
Here's the thing, though. Here's what I'm saying. Because
So-
I'm not for dismantling all nuclear, but I don't think they should be building any new ones. Because if
See,
you're in
I
Japan,
think that's
that's
even
good.
more
I think
flawed. I think they
nuclear
should
is
be
the solution.
decommissioning the old ones and starting new ones. How are you supposed
Yeah.
to
they
tell
should
me
be
that?
updating the safety
No,
on there.
you should be. You can't tell me that
Obviously,
the technology they had in
Technology has
1960
advanced so much.
can hold
Here's
up
what-
better than the
Here's
technology
what,
of
yeah, no,
modern
obviously, if
nuclear
it's like
plants.
something that isn't technological, if it's something that's very outdated, they can dismantle that. But I'm saying, no, they
Don't
can
build new
replace it
ones?
with a new one, but they shouldn't
Yeah.
be making more numerous ones. Because somewhere like
Agreed on
Japan, right, has nuclear, and you get stuff like Fukushima, because Japan is like, it's seismic. Like, there's a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes. Now, since they have so many volcanoes in Japan, you could literally be harvesting geothermal energy from there, which they have plentiful of. And
Geothermal's expensive though. It's very expensive.
But
Also,
they have
it's
a
so
lot of money.
new. We don't know what effects it might have as it degrades in like 50 to 60 years.
But geothermal still runs pretty like the in Italy they like use like half their power or something comes from
I mean,
geothermal.
I think geothermal energy is probably the best green energy we have today, but it's
It is.
also very young and it's very expensive.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. But also to build many more nuclear power plants is also quite expensive, and countries like Japan and Italy can't afford to use geothermal.
Yeah, that's
The one
true.
thing I
I'm
will
just saying
say
it's a
though,
good alternative because nuclear isn't the worst, but I don't think it's the best
I
either.
mean, hydro
Definitely
is
better
bad
than
because it
coal and
it
oil.
absolutely destroys environments. If you
Yeah,
build a dam,
no, that's
it
true.
floods entire like
It can
species
also
out.
go very wrong. Like it can break
Yeah.
and flood everything. That
the one
happened
thing I will
recently in
say, I don't
Michigan.
think you guys realize is like the new nuclear Gen 4 reactors aren't using radioactive materials. There's an element called thorium that isn't radioactive, and they use that as like the main component. So you can't turn it into like a weapon or anything like you would
Well, I'm a
normally see.
fan of nuclear technology. It's just I think nuclear technology needs to be used because we've learned so many lessons with it. Like saying because these bad things happen, we need to stop, like that's kind of holding us back. Like
Yeah, no, I
this
agree with
is
that. I'm
a
not opposed.
revolutionary technology. We just need to figure out the best possible ways to use it.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Back in the
I
60s,
agree.
they thought like cars were gonna run off of nuclear. Like, think of how
Yeah.
bad that would have
Yeah.
ended.
Well, they have nuclear submarines and stuff like the military does, but I'm saying like the thing with nuclear is like no, I'm not opposed to it either. I just think like it doesn't have to be the primary source. Like a lot of countries like it's still better to like if you can use renewable energy and it's sustainable to use that, and that works for many countries like in Germany and Denmark, wind power is a
See,
huge source of
here's
energy.
the
In Italy,
way
geothermal is, and Japan
So
the
geothermal.
way
with wind power, one of the biggest issues right now is people don't know how to dispose of the mills, like the turbines. So some countries just dump them into the ocean, which is actually just
Yeah, that's
harming
bad.
the environment
Mhm.
in the long run.
What
In
about
my opinion, like
nuclear
the
waste though?
can we talk about
Yeah, that's
renewables
pretty
for a
bad.
moment? The only way
Yeah,
renewables would
exactly. They
work,
dump that in the ocean too.
the only way that renewables would work in the current climate is if you basically created a global energy system so that the sun was always shining somewhere and that your power could be distributed evenly over a load. Because like really,
Also,
the amount of square mileage you need in just solar to power the whole world isn't that big. You'd be surprised. It's like the state of like Nevada. It's not that
this
big.
is the coolest thing
Yeah.
about the World Economic Forum. If you go to their website, they have projects on top of projects, all with laid out plans. So they get like UN ambassadors and politicians from all around the world, and like they'll have a couple people on each project within a certain sector. So they have like oceans, they have energy, they have like urbanization, they have technology. Like they have plans for all of these things moving forward in the future. Like how can we execute? And they have 3 year plans for everything, and they have people assigned to those projects. And then the people in the public positions that get assigned, they help sponsor coalitions and events that bring private sector and startups into the fold. So the World Economic Forum, I mean, I sound like I'm sponsored by them. I wish I could be, but like they're just amazing. Like the stuff they're doing is just we don't even hear about it in American news, but like it's just next level stuff. They're so in depth with everything they do.
Yeah, I
No, I
like them
agree.
too. I do like them
It's
a
I
lot.
based
agree
out
with
of
you.
Switzerland.
They should
Yeah,
sponsor
no,
us.
a
I
lot of
mean,
international organizations are.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was really good. Covered a lot there. All right. So on to the next topic. Abi and I both bought. Well, Abi got given a PC. He's buying a few components for it. I am starting to build my own PC. It hasn't shipped yet, but it's gonna be on its way in about 2 or 3 weeks.
I got
Um,
pretty lucky with it.
yeah, he did. He's. You can explain your situation. Want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I actually have a couple family members who well, I have a family member and what her significant other builds gaming PCs for fun. So he
Guy's a beast.
basically Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. He has a really cool job. I hope he helps me out one day. But overall, he built a new one because of this COVID isolation thing. He was like, I'm just bored, so I'm building a new one. So they're also moving, and my cousin, she was like, I want to get this out of my place. Like, I don't need this anymore. So they were just like, want it? I was like, sure. So I'm getting to transition from console to PC gaming for pretty much like dirt cheap.
And I bought a system. It was so expensive. I don't even want to talk about the price tag. But I guess what I want to get into now, because I could go into all the specs, but no one in the audience really wants to hear about that. There's probably like 2 people who watch this video who will be like, what did you put in your PC? Maybe I'll put that in a comment if someone asks.
What kind of card are you getting in there?
But anyway, what I want to go into is PCs versus consoles. So the next generation consoles are coming out. The specs would have them around a mid to lower tier PC for what you can build right now. I mean, you can spend an absurd amount of money to build like a godlike PC rig, but like high performance rigs really aren't that expensive, and like you could get one for probably $2,500 to $3,000. But
Well,
the
the cool thing about
consoles, what's up?
the
You
cool
go
thing
on.
about PC is it has so many more applications than a console. Like you can use it for school, you can use it for like creating content yourself for your social media.
My other
Like
thing I like to point out about a PC is how customizable it is. It's almost like a car that goes to a pit crew and like goes and gets changed out. It like gets new tires. You like have your like 4 little guys who like go in, they like take off all the tires, they like put on new parts, and then they like it
Yeah, like a
goes
pit
off.
crew.
Yeah,
yeah,
pit crew. It like goes right into the race again. So like the
I
thing that's
mean,
different with a console is once it's outdated, it's gone forever. The
it's
PC,
outdated.
you
Like
can
Yeah.
reuse some of the components in your PC and like just keep it going. It's not like you have to
well,
like
as the thing about PC, the reason why parts need to be replaced is that developers start using more advanced tech to create games.
exactly.
So if as your PC gets older, it's not your PC getting shittier on purpose. It's you can replace a few parts here and there and it'll be able to run modern softwares. And that's after like 4 or 5 years. With a console, 4 or 5 years, and then that's it. That thing is useless. It will never run anything right ever again.
Agreed. That's the biggest problem I see with consoles too. Is like once the console's generation is dead, it's dead. It's not coming back from the grave. With PC, like you could keep your motherboard if you like have an updated one. Like say you have one component inside of it that's updated beyond the other ones. All you need to do is
Yeah.
like an update and a few other components, which will cost you a few $100s. And you're right. And like you said, you can use it for so many different applications. You can do recordings. You have way more memory than any console would have access to because consoles are like handicapped by the
Unless
fact
you
that
spend an outrageous amount of money on the console.
yeah, which no one does because why would you? I think the
Yeah.
problem with consoles too is they used to be different from like the specs and the tech inside of a console used to be different from a PC, and now essentially they're literally just PCs. They're just like
Same thing, yeah.
mid-range PCs is all console is anymore.
Pretty
And I
much,
was gonna
yeah.
say there's also the versatility with a PC. Like you can play there's like just so many more different kinds of games you can get on PC because you can get things from Steam, you can get Microsoft games, and you can
Exactly.
even get like you can use Xbox controllers, you can use like the PS4 controller on there. They even have the Steam controller now too. So you can get like a lot more like options that you
They
can
even
get
have a
like
Stadia controller. I
yeah,
want to try
exactly.
Stadia out. I don't know if I'm gonna get Stadia. Do you
I'm
guys think
I'm
you're
not
gonna
gonna get
try Stadia out?
I'm not
I
gonna
don't
get
know.
Stadia. I'm
I
gonna go
do
with
like
Steam, and I'm gonna go with Microsoft Store. I'm actually not gonna use a
yeah, I
controller
agree
though.
with Jake.
I don't really
What's the
like
point of
controllers.
Microsoft Store if you have Steam though?
Well,
Doesn't
because you
Steam
can
have
get
pretty much everything?
you can't get the Xbox exclusives on the Steam store
Yeah.
because if you have like the thing
Uh,
about the Xbox games is they're released on Xbox and PC. So if you want the actual game, you
okay.
have to go to the Xbox store
Yeah.
for PC. But
Although it's
Does
yeah,
easier to use.
PlayStation have something like that or
no,
no?
PlayStation is exclusive to PlayStation, which is the one
Yeah.
downside of having PC. If you like PlayStation exclusives, you can't play them on PC.
Well, there's one PlayStation exclusive coming out. Jake's heard about this like a million times already. The Ghost of Tsushima. Oh my God, that's a beautiful game. Anyone that's into like video games and swords, you should totally check this
All I'm
game out. It's
saying is it would look
gorgeous.
even more beautiful if they released it on PC.
No, I agree.
If you have a nice
Oh,
enough monitor,
Yeah. Well, the other
it'll
thing
look
is
good on a
like
PS4 too.
I'm not gonna like I remember Alex you saying like the whole thing where you can use an Xbox controller. I'm not gonna use a controller. I'm gonna start using keyboard and mouse. Like
Yeah, keyboard and mouse is the way.
mouse is pretty nice, I will say.
the
I mean, for some things, I like the controller,
some
but
things the only
PS4
problem is
controller is nicer in my opinion. That's the one thing that's kind of annoying because that one you can also connect by Bluetooth. The Xbox controller, I think with Xbox games it should work, but sometimes you need a cable.
the only problem I have with like using controllers, a lot of the games that are actually developed for PCs have way too many
Yeah,
inputs. Like you need like at least like 12 to 15 of the
or
keys.
keys.
So like using that a controller kind of handicaps you because you can't really
No,
like
I do kind of
use.
agree with you. Plus, with the mouse, your aim can be so great and stuff in your
Yeah.
sight. And
Yeah, I
A lot
think
of the
especially if
PC
you get
guys
FPS.
cheat though. Like in Call of Duty, they like join like console lobbies and then they like cheat because they like can
it'll
just
be
mouse
a
click.
Fucking mouse.
Yeah,
it'll
it's
be a
Yeah.
really
annoying.
hard transition going from console to PC, but like once you get used to a mouse and keyboard, it's probably way more efficient and way faster than an actual controller.
No,
Yeah,
it is.
I
It's
just
like
think like
instant. Like,
I think like this generation especially kind of highlights the idea to me like consoles are dying. There's no point of like actually
Well, I
getting
think
one anymore.
consoles are great for streaming though, like DVD,
yeah.
Blu-ray. You can also watch like Netflix, Hulu, HBO, like everything on
Plus,
your
But you can
console.
do
gaming
that
with a
on
lot of
your
other people too.
you can do that on your
Multiplayer, like
PC.
split screen, is better on a
You can
console.
literally stream on your
Like without a
PC.
doubt.
You can do
Oh yeah,
everything
no,
I
on your
mean,
streaming,
PC.
yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
because you have like Netflix and the internet. But I'm saying
Yeah.
like the one thing consoles are nice is they used to make it like I'm not talking about like multiplayer, but like split screen, like with it's just more it's like more accessible
very
for people.
few games do that anymore though, like
Yeah, that's
split
true.
screen.
My
Like
thing
Like
is,
because
wouldn't
some
you rather
Borderlands is probably one of the few games nowadays that does that
wouldn't you
still.
it's
rather
because so many
jump
people just play on other consoles.
Wouldn't you rather
Yeah.
just like jump into like a Discord chat instead of like having to have a party anyway? Like you can have unlimited people in a Discord chat. Like you have what, like 10,
Yeah, that's
15
the
people
thing.
max.
Everything on PC just works better.
Better.
It's
That's the
just
one thing about
Yeah.
a PC.
you can do so much more and everything just works better.
Yeah. I've kind of given up on consoles. Like the one thing I will say, consoles are great for introducing like kids into the environment. I
I'm
think
also
that's it.
keeping a console just because I have a TV. So
Yeah, see that
console,
makes sense.
it's easy to just boot
It's a
up a
good
console and just like watch anything through it.
Yeah, but you can just do an HDMI cable and then you do it with your PC.
I guess
Yeah,
the
that's
on your TV.
PS4, the PS or the PS5, I should say, would be the only reason to have a console because of the exclusives and because if you have a TV, you can stream to it. But that's really all. That's the only defense I can make for a console anymore. They're basically mid-range PCs
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
I have
they
a
used to be.
feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of
I
what I'm
don't-
gonna say. It's kind of becoming a thing of the past a little bit because consoles used to be like you can do so much more than like computers back in like last
Yeah.
decade, but it's kind of becoming a
Yeah,
thing of the
now
past.
computers do like everything.
Yeah, and you can just get a monitor, a TV, and just like put it up there. It's like the same.
Like
Yeah.
with the PC, I can do graphic design better and game.
Yeah, and you can
Plus, you
talk
get all
to
the
stream.
mods.
I can
The
game
mods are so
stream.
much easier to
I
get.
can game stream, mod games, and do graphic design, probably all
And
at the
stream.
same
And
time.
like the
Yeah,
other
just
thing
like
is
that
if you're
area.
unhappy with the performance of
Watch
your
movies.
PC, it's not like you can just like rip out the CPU in a PS5 and like put in a new one. Like in your actual PC build, you can take out a component, put a new one in, and you're like updated for like the next 5
Yeah,
years.
you're good to go
You're
for
good to go.
like
Also with
another
cross
couple
console
years.
now. Cross console is one of the sickest things they have now. Like literally
Yeah.
everyone can play with anyone.
You
They
know
did that
why?
to Battle PC.
This is the one good thing PUBG and
Yeah, you're right.
Fortnite were good for. That they created it to be cross console. So now the games that cost money are like shit. Even the free ones do it, so we have to do it. It's just like stock trading apps. All the brokerage firms were like, shit, they can do these apps for free and trade now. So now we have to make our accounts free.
Yeah.
They were probably so mad about that because they saw the
Oh,
growth
yeah.
rate. The growth rate, they're like, "Fuck, we can't make money off this anymore."
Yeah. They were sad, but they were happy. They're keeping customers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's true.
keeping customers, but like they could have taken advantage of the growth rate. If they had like implemented that themselves and invested in it, they'd be the
Oh
one with
yeah,
all the growth.
they'd be the ones with the most. Yeah.
But
Instead, this random ass app called Robinhood saw it all.
I know. Robinhood and Webull, man. Those two, I love both those apps a lot.
Yeah, but now that COD and Fortnite do cross-platform, have a feeling a lot more games are gonna start being cross-platform.
Oh, I agree. I think the only way like you can actually maintain your market share as a console is to go cross-platform. I don't think there's another way to
Yeah,
do it.
so everyone can play together.
Exactly. I just think like the whole argument like I also think consoles are going to end up becoming outdated quicker in future generations because of how fast
I agree.
PCs are advancing.
Yeah,
Like a
PCs just
mid-range
get better and better.
PC just gets outdated in like a time span of
And they're
3 to
getting
4
like they're
years.
cheaper too now. They're cheaper and they're like you don't even like you can get like a decent gaming PC with like 8 GB for like cheaper than any console.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing about a PC as well is like the nicest stuff out right now for a PC will be useful for the next. If it's not useful for the next 5 years, it'll be useful for the 5 years after that.
Yeah, the other thing is too, it depends on what you're doing because like a lot of people aren't even interested in high res gaming. So like if you're just trying to
Yeah.
do it to like use Microsoft Word and like maybe do some video editing, like you can use your current specs right now and push out like
Oh,
1440p video with no problems 8 years from now.
yeah. I don't
It'll be
even
Yeah.
fine.
want high res gaming, honestly. Like, I like gaming, but like, if it looks nice enough, I really couldn't care.
All I cared
Yeah.
about was frame rate. I'm gonna sound like a nerd right now, but I wanted
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
120
I don't know. I
Like,
frame
feel
rates.
that.
as long as
I
when I
feel that
touch a
shit.
button, if I touch a button and the thing in front of me, the screen in front of me does what I touch that button to
Instantly
do,
and not laggy.
yeah,
Dude,
Yeah.
lag,
then I'm
fuck
fine
lag
with
though.
it. Then I'm happy with that. Like,
I feel that frame rate shit's so important, dude.
Dude,
Lag
it
in
is.
games actually is like the worst shit
yeah,
ever.
lag is the worst. I have a feeling
If
Stadia
you're
is
like,
gonna have a ton of lag at first.
Yeah. The only problem
it
I have,
depends,
like,
bro,
my
on the
PC is gonna
game.
be able to run 4K, but like the frame rate's not that great. It's like I think it's like 40 to like 60 FPS for 4K, and like if you run
Oh
1080p
yeah.
or 1440p, you get like 120 to 150. So I'm like
I
gonna
get
run.
pretty yeah.
Like I care
On
about that
my
shit.
PC I have yeah, on my PC I have at home I get decent frame rate. I have a few games I could play on my Mac, dude. You should see that frame rate.
Is it good or
If you want a
trash?
game on a Mac,
It's
you gotta
not
buy
great.
like Apple's gaming specific Mac. That's like an extra
It's like
thousand
no,
dollars.
literally, dude. They make this thing called
I
like
could
the
play like
iMac.
Minecraft on there.
They make one.
That'll
It's
work.
called the Mac Pro. Actually, they make like a $7,000 PC workstation. It's for
Yeah.
like editors and like finance, like consultants and stuff like that. And it's literally 7 grand, but it like is basically like your own server PC. It's like the specs inside of it are dumb. You have to spend like 30K to have a PC that's comparable to what Mac provides for 7 grand.
That's the thing about Apple. They're like, if you want it, it's like, here, we'll release this product. You use it to its max, and it's like, eh. But then, like, if you want the absolute like best product, you gotta drop fat fucking stacks.
I feel like Apple's primarily always been for like kind of like design. Like they a lot of their like apps are known for like productivity and creativity. Like they have iMovie, GarageBand, and they have like a lot of other things like that. And then also like I think they're also kind of known for like they have all the like message apps and everything. Like they're kind of known for like that. And I feel like Microsoft's always been more for like kind of like office stuff, like
Well,
Microsoft Word,
I think
PowerPoint.
the biggest thing between Apple and Microsoft is like Microsoft offers like, so it's open source, a little less secure, but they offer customizability and like way more, like you can do a lot more freely with Microsoft in terms of customization and
Yeah,
like just different kinds of things. With Apple, depending on the product you get, it's very specific to
yeah,
that to serve that
I
specific
feel like that's
need. So
more
like,
recent though, because I
if
feel
you
like
require
Microsoft used to
more
be
out of
less.
your Apple product, you gotta spend that much more to get that out of your Apple
No,
product.
I agree, but that's like a more recent thing. I feel like because Microsoft used to just be more minimal. I feel like back in the day, and then because Apple was always seen as like the standard, like the high standard.
I
Well,
Like
disagree with that
Apple,
in PC anyway.
no, I think there
you think
it's
back in the
just
day,
too.
PC were better?
Well, no, I just think Microsoft was always the lead. It depended on what you wanted for
I think it's
business.
two
No, I
different
agree. It
things.
depends on
I
what you
think
want
it's
to do.
two different things. You know, like Apple has a fantastic interface and a ton of security, but
Yeah,
Microsoft has always offered like a lot of power and customizability. Like
That's kind of what I
you get a
liked about it.
Microsoft product and like if your basics of your computer are powerful enough, you can do anything you want, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
With Apple, you get a limited product, and if you want more, you gotta spend more to get that.
Apple is like a parent that like holds its kid's hands like to introduce it to the world and it like keeps you safe. Whereas like
Yeah,
Microsoft is like
Is that kid?
it's
you
like
have to be trusted to go
it's like
out there and actually do things
you're
correctly.
like
That's
a
why
kid
like I
that
do
just said "fuck you" to his parents for the first time. Then his parents drove him into the middle of like New York and kicked him into an alley,
that's what I'm saying too.
and
It's
then they
like
left.
here's a great analogy. This is why I do all my irresponsible things on Apple and I do all my responsible things on Microsoft. It's like a great way of looking at it. Cause like you can't like you don't want to go down a wormhole on a Windows machine unless you have like
That's true, because
antivirus
you'll get like
installed.
a virus
Yeah,
Yeah,
unless you have a
exactly.
firewall.
open source does have its downsides, but at the same time, I feel like the thing that Apple profits off of is consumer uneducation, where like they don't actually know
Yeah,
what's
it's
inside the product they're buying. Whereas like
it's the brand name. They just
Microsoft's
assume it's good.
yeah, Microsoft's like strength is that you can customize your own product, so it's almost for like a more prestigious class inside tech. It's kind of like the main difference.
Yeah, I
I'd
feel
say.
like Apple. I feel like it's more like because Apple seems to be what they always use in like education, but then I feel like in like technology they use a PC.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, in
absolutely.
technology they always use Windows because Windows is just there's a lot more to work with. Apple limits what you can
Yeah,
work with.
Apple they always
You
use
can
in like
you can
education and
still
then like production. So
customize Apple stuff, but it's a lot harder to find those same settings. It also takes a lot more time and effort.
Yeah. No, it's almost like they want their consumer a bit uneducated. Like who they're trying to sell their product to isn't really informed on the subject of
I mean,
technology.
how many people overall really are that informed in terms of like cybersecurity? Like a lot of people don't even clear their browser history or anything ever. Like
Yeah.
that's not to hide porn. Like that's actually really good in terms of keeping your computer like
what to clear your
operating
browser
clean.
history?
Yeah.
Not only
No,
that, but just
Yeah, I
efficiently.
use a private browser honestly a lot, so
well,
the
not only
government can't
that,
track me.
it's not just
It's not just
well,
that.
clearing your browser history is like on top of like advertisers can't track you,
Yeah, but
so it
just use
stops that
use
bullshit.
use a
And then
private
on top of
browser.
that, like it's
Use
about keeping
incognito.
your computer clean. Because if your computer has to generate that whole history, you're now losing computer
Yeah.
power to that. If same thing with files. When you get files and you don't organize them and you just let them build up and
Oh,
build
I
up and
hate that
build
shit.
up, your computer is now spending that much more processing power on
To
just
load everything.
generating all that when you open up files. So keep
No, I
part of
feel
computer maintenance, basic computer maintenance is like clearing history, keeping files up to date, deleting old files that you don't need anymore. That'll keep your computer running quite a bit longer.
yeah, but I was gonna say with the history thing, can't you literally just use a private browser incognito
Yeah,
and
you
not
can.
worry about that? That's what I do anyway, so they can't like track. So like the government and advertisers can't take my
Well, the
shit.
government can track you either way.
I get yeah.
It's
You can probably see our
that's not
podcast right now.
incognito is not stopping the government from
That's
tracking
true.
you.
Everyone waved
That's
the
true.
NSA.
uh
But at least advertisers won't have my shit unless they get like my email. I stay
yeah.
signed in.
All
But
right, I
I don't.
I think that really exhausts the PC master race topic cuz like come on, PCs are overtaking consoles Like I am
Yeah,
kind of a
eventually
PC fanboy
PCs will
now.
just tell you what you want, and they'll just download the game before you even say you want
That's
it.
the other thing. When are you gonna be able to use a console to like operate on AI software? Never. At least
No.
that's like gens down the line. Like your PC could like communicate with an AI right
When
now if
will
you
you
wanted
use
to.
a console to operate on software? Fucking never.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
true
say that's
too.
not really gonna be
I
a
just
thing
think they're
people
two
do.
separate products, and like PC is just like it's not even like
Absorbing
comparable
it
because
all.
it's like PC is like a giant circle, and like
I think what
PS4,
this proves
PS5
is
and
that
Xbox are just like a dot.
simplicity sells.
Yeah,
Like
simplicity does sell because
when it
people
comes
are
to
just dumb.
consoles, they're huge because they're simple and easy. You plug in two cords into the back, and all of a sudden you got everything running. All your media, all your TV, all your games.
I just want to bring up this point too because you're right. Simplicity does sell, but like part of like the fun in PC and like even Mac is like teaching yourself because like even with OBS, like
Yeah.
that's what we used to do, record. For everyone who doesn't know, we like use OBS for like the screen capture and audio now. Um, and like the thing is like I struggled with this for days, but like self education is kind of what brings you to PC. Like it's
Yeah.
way more fun to like learn how to do things correctly and
I
like
mean, if
actually.
there's anything YouTube proves is that for just as many people as that aren't willing to put in the work to learn things like this, there are that many more people that are.
Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. There's like
I
there's
agree.
whole channels built around like just education on OBS. It's wild. Like for every application you could want on a PC, and I'm sure there's
Yeah.
that for coding too. But fuck that at the moment. I'm not interested.
Yeah, coding's intense.
Those people have no lives.
I don't know, some of them probably have some of the best lives, honestly.
I feel like they're sweaty when they're young. They're like super sweaty
When
people
they're
when they're
young,
young.
there are like some coders who like they program some shit when they were like 13 for fun and it's sold for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, those are
I
the
think
fun
those guys are
sweaters.
living life. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. All your basic applications, like those guys, must be
oh
like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
living the good
If you can
life.
get an app, if you can make a good app, and you don't even need to sell it anymore these
Like, can
days, you
you
can just put
imagine?
ads.
Because I know
Make
Facebook bought
both.
Instagram. Can you imagine being the guy who made Instagram? Like, I am now king of the world.
I think he still works actually. I think he works. I think
At
Zuckerberg
Instagram?
kept him. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
So
Oh,
they have an
yeah.
Instagram branch and they kept an Instagram team. They probably cut a good amount of Instagram workers out when they
Yeah,
bought
probably
it.
probably
Like,
released a lot. Yo, not to go
yeah.
too much on a sidetrack, when you think about it, remember Google, how it used to literally just be a search engine and now they run like everything? Like it literally
That's
just used to be a
facts.
website you could
That's
search stuff
facts.
for, and then they bought YouTube and then they ran
Yeah.
that, and then they have the maps and shit and the
Yo,
images, and
Google's
that
in
was like,
everything.
and now they make phones and shit and computers like the
Now they
Chromebook,
sell all our
email,
data.
Gmail. Yeah.
Honestly, like, I don't think people realize, like, how big YouTube's become now. Like, YouTube, like, is way bigger. Do you guys know, like, Twitch, the live streaming platform?
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
has more viewers than Twitch now, like by a large margin because of how big
YouTube's
YouTube
always
is.
had reviewers
Yeah.
and
No,
Twitch.
but from live streaming for like actual live streams, which was like the
Okay.
thing that kind of surprised me. Like YouTube's become this
That
huge
doesn't
portion.
surprise me at all.
No, but I thought that it was going to take longer for them to overcome that because Twitch is kind of a dedicated live streaming site, but YouTube's like an all-in-one platform for video uploads
YouTube
and
literally has
doesn't-
streaming.
It
every
doesn't
content in the
surprise me
world.
because Twitch. How did Twitch really get a footing? Because YouTubers who were into gaming started doing live streams on Twitch.
Exactly.
So
They
that's
said we
where
want
all
this
of
thing.
Twitch's yeah, all of Twitch's fan base came from YouTube in the fucking first place. Like,
Yeah.
and then YouTube was like, "Oh wait, we can do this ourselves."
Yeah.
Well, Google said that
And
because
how
YouTube was like, "What
it's
do
like
we do?"
yeah,
Google was like,
Google
Alphabet,
like
"All right."
tells you.
Alphabet,
Oh, yeah.
Alphabet Corp,
Dude, isn't it
man.
crazy too how there's like YouTube Red or whatever, which is like, isn't that like that's a streaming
They have
thing?
YouTube
It's like,
Red. They also have YouTube TV, which is
yeah.
different.
And
YouTube
Google's
Red
making their
sounds
own
like
stream.
Pornhub Premium. Like YouTube Red,
Low
it
key.
does have that like
It's
ring
literally
to
just
it.
B-Tech Netflix. It's like Walmart Netflix.
Yeah,
But now it's just a way.
YouTube TV has like any movie you can imagine. You search a movie on YouTube now, they're like, "Hey, $5, you can watch
Yeah,
it."
on YouTube
Any
Red, dude. Now
fucking movie,
Google's getting
any
so
movie.
much money because
Yeah.
Amazon. If we're gonna go down this whole Amazon, which used to literally just be online shopping, as their own streaming service. So, and they're
Yeah, that's
making all
true.
this
Well,
other shit.
Well,
that
actually,
that is what
Amazon
Twitch.
started with just books. That's
Amazon
how
owns
Jeff
Twitch.
Bezos started
With the
Amazon.
Kindle, they made that shit.
Well, Amazon
And the
owns
Kindle
Twitch. You
Fire, which
guys
was like
know
an
that, right?
iPad.
No, so like Jeff Bezos was like, what can I ship easily and cheaply in a box? Books. He could fit a fuck ton of books into one box.
Yeah.
I just want to
So
point out that that is what Amazon owns. Amazon owns Twitch, that streaming platform. I don't know
really,
if you guys know that,
Oh.
but yeah, it does.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, how do all these guys stay on top of everything? Because they invest millions of dollars into data analysis.
Yep, absolutely.
That's pretty. Like Amazon started with books, Google started with the search engine, and then how they started making money, they started analyzing all the traffic and data that was coming into their site.
I have a prediction though. I think that YouTube will beat out Twitch only because I think that
Oh,
Twitch
sure.
and Amazon's whole business plan is not as crucial as YouTube is to Google or Alphabet because of the
Yeah,
fact that
exactly.
like what is Amazon's main function? It is to sell products like over their web stores. What does
Yeah.
Twitch do? It literally just uses ads to influence what customer or what
Amazon's
viewers do, but it's
Amazon's
not.
main product is not shipping online. It's having
Data.
database servers, or it's having computer servers. They literally just have buildings with servers in them. That allows them to create infrastructure for like businesses like Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's and shit, just anywhere.
Yep.
The
All right.
NBA can use Amazon servers.
I think we're jumping
Yeah, that's
into a
facts.
new topic. I think
I
we
would say I
went
don't
down
want to
the
go too
wormhole.
far down this hole.
We went
Alright,
down the
are you
wormhole
gonna-
on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that you just mentioned the NBA because something that's on a lot of people's minds and it has been for the past 3 months during quarantine is what to do about professional sports, which is one of the probably the highest, make some of the most revenue of anything in this country.
Oh yeah,
People
billions,
watch
billions
sports.
of
Easily
dollars.
one of the top forms, and it's like it's like recovers so many different areas of not because it's entertainment, but it's also people's jobs and it's also like their livelihood. Like these people have like their fitness and their athletic performance is like the center of their life and has been for most of their life since high school. So yeah, of course, it's something very important. A lot of people, when coronavirus hit, were wondering what was going to happen and like how it's going to work out. How, cause obviously like sports stadiums, like there's going to be a ton of people in there. So it's been a debate around the world because there were some countries I know that never shut down their professional sports throughout this entire coronavirus, as mostly like
Wait,
countries like
really?
I think yeah, in like Russia or Belarus, like a lot of professional sports just kept going and
Yeah.
because they just didn't care. And I don't know how badly they were affected by Corona or not, but I know that like yeah, there was like a big thing in many countries and
Well, those countries also don't get super warm, right? And Corona prefers, or no, it's a cold weather virus.
yeah, it is more
Wait,
cold.
that's kind of surprising.
I know. I don't know why. I don't know. Like
We're
they're
like,
just
wait
they
a
just
minute.
don't care, man.
What happened to?
Hang on, wait. It transmits in the cold. What are these guys doing?
Yeah, they just also just don't give a shit because they're like oligarchies. They're
Yeah,
like
I was just
borderline.
about to say they're
Yeah.
like a fake news. They're like jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. But I know that like in the UK and in Germany and like in Italy and France, Spain, like the big soccer leagues in Europe, that was like a huge controversial thing. And like Germany was the first country to reopen. They were able to like test everybody in their soccer league in the Bundesliga, and I think they tested like like there's like either 10 or 12,000 people, and only like under 100 came back positive for
Yeah.
corona. So they were able to like manage it and like just keep those people in isolation and start the league back up with like frequent tests. And then that was becoming a thing in the UK with the Premier League that recently Liverpool recently won the league after like a couple weeks only after they started it up. So then in the United States, we're wondering about the MLB, for example, which is like, of course, like some major, the main summer sport is baseball in the United States. And then, so the MLB is supposed to
Is it
be
still baseball?
for summer sports.
I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like
not saying the
hockey
main
and
sport.
football would have taken over by now.
Hockey's
Actually,
played in the summer.
basketball is probably the main sport in America now.
I'm saying the summer sport.
Oh, okay.
No, the biggest
Oh,
sport in
that's why
America is
baseball's
definitely
still on
football.
top. They can still
How's baseball
Football
still
can-
exist?
baseball can
Dude,
still claim it's
baseball's
like a
fun to
top
play and to
sport
watch
just
in
because
person.
they play it over the summer.
Baseball's fun to drink beer to and to fall asleep while watching.
Baseball's fun as fuck to play.
No,
And baseball fun to
it's not
watch
that
in
much
person.
fun to play.
It's-
I mean,
It's
like,
actually
it's
kind of
alright
fun to play. It's more fun to play than to watch, if I'm being honest. It's fucking dreadful
Yeah,
to
that's
watch.
true.
It's fucking
I
dreadful
agree
to
with-
watch.
No, I think watching it in
Literally,
person, I don't know,
hockey.
it's an experience.
Actually, watching it in person is fun.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
then,
just
Then
like
you're
like,
drinking.
You're hanging out.
yeah, and you
yeah,
can catch a
pretty
foul
much.
ball, or if you're Jake, get hit in the face because you're too drunk with the
What's
foul
cool
ball.
about
Never
What's
even
cool
caught
about being
one,
in
man.
person in a baseball game is you can like not pay attention for like a whole hour and still know what's going on. No other
Yeah.
sport is like that. Like in basketball, you gotta watch. Hockey, you gotta watch. Football, you
Tennis.
gotta watch.
Agreed. I actually like tennis.
Yes, tennis you do have to
No,
watch as
I
well
like
as
baseball
golf.
more than tennis.
More than
All
tennis,
right, what
dude?
about
No.
I'm
golf?
more interested in
Golf,
tennis
buddy.
and golf than I am in baseball.
Agreed. I'd rather watch a golf tournament than I
I
would a
do
baseball
watch golf.
game.
I watch
I do
golf.
too.
Golf is fun to watch.
I usually watch the U.S. Open.
Here's the biggest myth about golf.
I don't
People-
hate golf either, but I'm
people-
saying my favorite's definitely soccer and football, followed by basketball, and then baseball and hockey.
Yeah, I think
would say.
hockey's better than baseball for sure.
I
don't
think
even-
I like them about the
soccer's
same.
soccer's like right above tennis. It goes like
I mean-
baseball at the bottom, then tennis, then soccer, then golf. Actually, soccer and golf, I guess you could switch them around.
No, I'd say
And then NBA,
tennis and,
then football,
tennis
and then
and golf
hockey.
are kind of similar. For
You rather
me.
watch
I like
hockey than
them.
football?
Yeah, well, playoff
I'd
hockey,
rather
I
watch
feel like
football
I'd
than
rather watch.
hockey.
Playoff
No, I'd
hockey
rather
is
watch-
like my favorite.
Football
I'd
and
rather watch
soccer are my top
football
two,
than
and
hockey.
NBA's close up there.
Football's my number one. Football is like just the best fucking
I
sport
used
to
to
watch.
agree.
Oh,
Like
I
I would
love
have said
football.
football.
No, soccer
I
and
would've said
football are tied for me.
But like right now,
I
I,
just
think
think-
playoff hockey is so much more fun. To
I just
watch.
think in terms of strategy,
football,
like
dude.
in terms of like mental games and strategy, no other sport compares to football.
I'd agree with that. Actually, football's a fun
Well,
time to
the
watch.
thing is, what a lot of people say is that football is a coach's sport and soccer is a player's sport. Because I agree with you, the strategy and the
Oh
mentality.
no, dude! Players in football are pretty fucking
Well,
hard.
then why don't those
That's not the point.
soccer
Wait, let me
players
finish
try
my-
and play some football against some
All right,
pro
let's see a
football
football
athletes?
player run like a soccer player. Any other position besides wide receiver?
Dude,
or
all he'd
running
have
back
to
could.
do is eat the guy, and then he'd be on the
No,
field
dude.
alone.
Imagine a fat ass lineman trying to run like 6
Dude,
miles a game.
I've
Yeah.
seen a running
Let me
back.
finish my point.
I've
This
seen
is
a
the point
running
I'm-
back jump from a pool out of the pool onto concrete, like from an
Yeah,
in-ground
so-
pool. Like, what soccer player can fucking do that?
So many, probably. You literally just need to do hurdles and high speed track. and
nuts in
do that.
football. I do.
Also,
love
no, what I'm
football
trying to
games.
say is nothing about like physicality. I'm saying they say it's a player's sport in soccer and a coach's sport in football because of the mentality and the tactics. So in football, right, I agree with you. It's a big strategy game as far as the coach and what the coach kind of plans out as a coach's sport because it's a lot. You kind of have to follow like the formation they put on you, and the quarterback kind of commands on the field. See, in soccer, there's really no position that commands from the field. Mainly, it's the playmaker, like the center attacking mid, who distributes the ball.
He has
But-
to recognize what's happening.
Yeah, everyone has to
That's
be
a good
creative.
point,
Every
actually.
player has to be creative and think on the spot and try and think of something to kind of outsmart someone. And that kind of individualistic creativity you don't see in most positions in football.
See, I would appreciate
people
that,
have
but
to do it.
I come from the
what they're
mindset
told.
that soccer is a bit slow. It's just like a bit
Yeah, I
slow
think
compared to football.
You have to watch the English or German league.
compared to football, it's definitely slow.
That's what
But
I'm saying.
No,
this
because they
is
don't
going
stop
back
every
to
fucking like
this is
play.
why baseball is so fucking trash. It's like, what do you have to think about in baseball? I'm gonna hit the ball over there because that guy might be a little slow, and then a bunch of people watch you take several tries at trying to hit the ball over there. Hopefully, it works out.
Dude,
Yeah,
baseball
but you have to have
Like,
stats are
good reflex
so
in baseball.
boring. Like it's the worst stat line that you can ever read is like what's your on base percentage and like what's your
Baseball, you
hitting
need good
percentage is
reflexes.
like
Then you have to be able to
so
throw,
annoying.
catch, and hit though.
yeah, that's
And
true.
run.
You do
But yeah,
need
you don't
really
run
good
a lot. I will
reflex.
say the stamina you need in
I just
basketball,
think
hockey, and soccer is the three most. I would
Yeah,
basketball,
say.
I agree.
hockey, soccer, football, almost any other sport.
I
Tennis
feel like
takes
you can
more
actually be
stamina
like a
than
drug
baseball.
addict and play
Tennis
baseball.
takes more stamina than baseball.
I honestly
All
feel like
right.
you could do like hard drugs and play baseball like at a high level if you were really good.
What about
Most of
cycling?
them
Once you
do,
take the
bro.
most
Most
drugs.
guys in the MLB fucking roid up.
That's what I'm
Dude, that you
saying.
know what sport the sport uses the most roids? Fucking cycling. I'm not making that shit
Oh
up.
No
yeah.
shit.
Have
All
you
the
seen
cyclists do.
Icarus actually?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all blood doping.
Icarus is amazing. Oh my god. It's
What
about
about
like the Russian they bring the actual Russian doctor that brought like blood doping into Russian Olympics
Can I
yeah?
ask
They
something?
got
Why is it
suspension.
always a
and
Russian?
then they try to murder the guy.
Dude,
It's
it
always
is
a
always them.
Russian.
No,
It's
but
either
that Russian
Russia or
guy was
former
cool. He was
USSR,
a
like East
really
Germany.
the whole point of Icarus was like that guy was a genius, and the main guy in Icarus actually loved that dude. Like he thought he was a wicked smart, like cool guy,
I do
and then
remember
his
that
own
actually.
government tried to fucking murder him. Like that's
Yeah.
wild.
Well, it's Russia. What do you expect?
The only
That's
person
not
in
the.
America that experiences that nowadays is fucking Edward
I
Snowden.
was just gonna say Snowden.
I kind of feel bad for Snowden, honestly.
I think Snowden's
All right.
an American hero, honestly.
I do too. No, I do too because of the government should not be taking all our information.
Dude, that's the
But that's
problem
not
I
the
But they
have
point.
with the
do, and
government.
there's nothing we can do about it.
No. My problem is like,
Just
why is the
yeah.
government actively pursuing Edward Snowden? Nothing he did was
I know.
anti-American at all.
No, it was
Yeah, because they're scared of
American.
what he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, that's not the point. The
they
But
point
are
is
isn't that
scared.
no,
more anti-American than what Snowden did? Okay, we're gonna get off that topic.
no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the thing with baseball, right, is it's not a very high contact sport. So you should be able to use like all those other sports we mentioned, maybe aside
Neither
from
is
tennis.
tennis, but it's more fun to watch.
I'm not talking about that shit. It's not your opinion. I'm saying aside from tennis and golf, like soccer, football, hockey, basketball, all have way more contact than baseball. So that's
Yeah.
why baseball, when you think about it, if they're being tested and regulated as much as these soccer players in England and Germany, then you should be able to have the MLB this summer. Now here, I'm gonna read a little about the plans because the MLB is starting. It started on July 1st, actually, I believe. So, or sorry, that's I guess
That's
that's today now.
tomorrow.
No,
Oh,
it's
that
technically
is
today.
today now.
It starts later today.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm
that's
not
when they're
gonna
gonna.
watch it.
Well, they're going to training camp. I'll just read you the schedule real quick because I thought this was interesting, just how they're gonna do it. Because I was kind of curious because a lot of people said that what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to play like every game at one stadium and get frequently tested, and there's gonna be no fans, which is also weird for the players because it's like every time they hit a home run, it's gonna be like their bench, just like yeah, let's go, it's my boy. They're not gonna have people cheering.
It's
So
like, yeah,
yeah,
Greg, good shit.
literally. So, but basically, yeah. So it's supposed to start tomorrow, or well, no, tomorrow they were no bullshit. Sorry, they go to training camp tomorrow. It's not actually starting until the 23rd. And this is what's crazy though. It's gonna be 60 games in 66 days. You know, baseball players actually play the most games by far. They play 162
Yeah,
games.
but what
Yeah,
does that
that's why like
mean?
bench players make like $1 million in the MLB because they have so many fucking
They
games,
play
dude.
like 3 games a week. It's
Unreal.
kind of crazy because
Why does MLB have such a long season? It
But
makes
like a
no
game in
like
MLB is like a
3 months.
loading screen while you're playing a video game.
Bro, they
Like,
play like 3 hours too because there's no clock. Baseball's also one of the only sports with no clock. They just have to finish those 9 innings.
dude,
Yeah.
I'd be like sitting out in the outfield, you know, like in bench warmers when there's like the dude who has like Clark when he has like a butterfly fly into his mitt. That'd be like me being an MLB player.
Dude, they play a lot of games, dude. I will say that's gotta be like, especially if you're a catcher, dude. Like that's gotta be so much on your body.
Oh yeah. Oh, catchers, their knees are
Dude, they're
probably absolutely trash by the time they leave the
I
MLB.
would say their careers get ended shorter.
I mean, it
Like
takes a ton of
besides
work.
aside
Yeah,
from
I'm
like
not
Yogi
disputing
Berra.
that. It's just like you put in all that work for like something that's just like okay to watch until playoff MLB
Your
is not
opinion.
bad. Playoff
I love the
MLB is
World
not bad.
Series.
It's nice. But like compared to playoff football, playoff basketball, playoff hockey, it's nowhere near as
It's
much
nowhere.
fun to watch.
It's
All right,
just
well, that's
not.
not the point because people still watch it. But no, you do have a
Yeah.
point. I believe now, I think football and
MLB's got to
basketball are
shorten
more
their
watched.
season and add time limits. If
Yeah,
they
dude,
do
It's
that,
weird.
they'll probably get way more people
I think they
watching.
did add a pitch count time limit, if I'm not mistaken. That's a new
I
rule
think they
they
did.
added.
Yeah.
they did do that. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, 162 games versus like the 82 games they play in basketball, and then like the 16 they play in football in the regular season.
It's
So
not
tells you
comparable though.
a
You
lot.
just don't exert yourself in baseball the same way. And like the pitchers only
Yeah,
Yeah,
pitch
but it's
one
still,
exactly.
out at one every 4 or 5 games. The pitchers. So it's like
but yeah,
you
this
just don't exert yourself as much.
Like in
I just find
baseball, you're exerting yourself in certain moments of high stress, which is
Yeah.
what
The only guy
kind
who
of
gets
creates that.
shafted in all of baseball is the catcher, in my opinion. The catcher has the worst gig in baseball.
Yeah, no one knows his face. He's the strongest thrower on the team. He can throw that ball fucking
And can you
anywhere at any
imagine like
time.
crouching down the way he has to for like
The
numerous
whole game.
hours?
The whole fucking
Catchers
game.
don't get
yeah,
enough
no,
respect in that sport.
and they get
They
nailed.
don't.
That's what I'm saying. There's not many
Yeah.
famous catchers
Also,
aside from
they
like
got
Yogi
to,
Berra, at
dude, imagine
least that I can
how
name off the top of my head.
I know for a fact if someone threw a ball 90 miles per an hour at me, I would not want to catch that. I would dodge it. I would not catch it.
Yeah,
I would
Yeah,
get out of the fucking way.
that position
that's why they have to
blows.
These
put on all
guys,
that gear.
these guys crouch down for hours and just wait to catch 90 mile per hour balls. That's that's
That
their
job
job.
sucks. That job sucks. You'd have to pay me more than anyone else on the team to take that job.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
I
Being
know.
I think we should get off the topic. What do you guys think?
No,
I
I want
think
to finish what I was
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Getting distracted. No, this is what I think is crazy though, because it says 60 games in 66 days. So they're literally gonna have a game every day but 6 days. And also, how are they gonna like make the season still work with like losing 100 games? Like, I'm actually that kind of baffles me a little bit. Like how I don't know how they're expecting to work.
I don't know how that's gonna work either because in MLB has some of the highest paid athletes like ever. Like even if you're a bench player in the MLB, you could be making like a mil. Like
Also, yeah,
that's
no, I
pretty
know what you
rare
mean.
in other sports. That's not
I
like
know
normal in most sports.
I'm like reading here. Like some of the rules like and it's just like I don't know, this seems kind of like I don't know how they're gonna get this to work. It says there's players can't come earlier than 5 hours before game time. They must leave 90 minutes after the game. There's no buffet, only prepackaged food. I find that funny. No showers.
Dude.
No showers. Players,
Yeah.
they prefer players shower in the hotel, and they said players when they walk onto the field they must stay 6 feet away from everyone including
So
teammates.
basically it's gonna take a huge toll on players at least by the
Dude,
time at
it makes
least like
no sense
a
if they're
quarter
trying
way
to.
into the season, it's going to take a
Wait,
huge toll on
is the
players.
NBA coming back at all this year? Or is it done?
I believe the NBA is coming back as well. I think they're playing in Miami or Orlando. That's where like all the games are supposed to
All
be.
the games?
Yeah, they're playing all the games in one place. I'm pretty sure. I could be
Why?
wrong about
Wouldn't
that.
that spread the virus
Why would they
more?
do it? Yeah.
No, because they can contain and test people who go in there.
Also,
That
why
makes
would they
sense
do it
actually.
in Miami and Orlando when Florida has like a huge number of
'Cause
cases?
that wasn't planned, bro.
So if people
Yeah,
test
they're gonna be
positive, they
playing in
can't compete.
Orlando.
So if people
They're
test
gonna be playing.
positive for corona, they can't compete.
So let me get this straight. In order to avoid, in order to minimize the number of cases, we're only going to play all of our 80 games in one of the highest number of cases states in America.
There's no way they're playing 80 games though. That's the
All right,
one thing.
here's a little bit more about the NBA. So July 30th is the start date. So this is gonna be weird as hell. We're gonna have basketball in the summer, and it's gonna end at October, no later than October 13th, which
Okay,
is
so they're
weird.
shortening the season
Yeah, they are, and it says
by a
22
lot.
teams. 22 teams will return to play. Like the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, Nets, Magic, Wizards, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, Mavericks, Grizzlies, Blazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns. I don't know who else that's missing, but um, I think that's
Pretty
just
much
people.
all the teams I like are in there.
Yeah, it sounded like the good
I'm
bunch,
trying to
like
see
the
who's not
playoff
in there.
I
The
bunch.
mean,
Bulls aren't in there. The
Well,
Bulls
don't
I
aren't
the
in
mean
there.
the
I
Bulls
think
Bulls have
they
suck?
been
had a
trashed.
yeah,
The
they're
Bulls
bad
have been
season.
trashed lately. I mean,
That's
let's
what
be
I'm
real.
saying. It sounded
The
like they're like the
Grizzlies.
top teams anyway.
Oh wait, no, the Grizzlies are in there.
I feel like that's
Oh,
Yeah,
probably the
no,
better
it's
teams.
have you both seen The Last Dance yet?
No.
the Knicks aren't in there either, but they're shit.
Yeah, that's
Have
what
you
I'm
guys
saying.
seen
The
Have you
teams
guys
are
seen The
out.
Last Dance?
No. What's
No.
that? What's that?
That's the Michael Jordan documentary
Oh,
with
that
the
you kept
Bulls.
pounding me about.
Oh,
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. No,
good.
I
Oh
want to
my
watch that. No,
God,
I know
it's
what you're
such a
talking about.
great document. I like when Netflix had 30 for 30s, every single 30 for 30 Netflix had I've seen.
I did that
Like
with a
I
football
just
life on NFL Network. That was like
Oh,
the
I like
show.
A Football Life.
That
Did
was
you
like
watch the
one out.
Bruce Arians one?
Yes, I did watch the
That
Bruce
one was
Arians one.
great.
Yeah, I watch them all, dude. I loved that
Yeah.
series.
Amazon Prime, I think, actually has Saban and Belichick documentary.
A Football Life did Belichick. I don't know about Saban, but the Belichick
No,
one
like
was good.
they have a documentary with Saban and Belichick together. Like they go hang out. Like
Oh,
those guys are
really?
friends.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
That's
So
kind of cool,
nasty.
actually.
pretty
So
fucking badass.
Which reminds me, the last thing I wanted to talk about is so Cam Newton to the Pats. What's your guys' reaction on that?
I'm happy. I think that's a
I
really
think
good pick.
I think that's smart. I think what the Pats are doing is they're bringing in a guy with a lot of experience to help coach up Stidham. And while he's coaching up Stidham, they're also going to allow him to coach up whatever new prospects they bring in as well.
Here's my prediction. Stidham is a flaming pile of garbage, in my opinion, and Cam Newton is going to be our serviceable
I think so.
quarterback for this year.
I mean,
and we're going to
Dude,
draft one
Newton,
next
I
year.
don't want to
Not-
sound like a
we-
hater, but I think Newton's overrated a little bit.
Here's my
I don't
thing. In
think
the
he's
current
amazing,
form, he's
but he has
overrated.
experience, and he's going to impart that experience onto the younger
That's
guys. that the
In
Pats
the
bring
current
on.
form, Newton is probably overrated. My thing is, once you see him go through OTAs and training camp, Newton's going to end up being the best quarterback on the roster. He's going to take Stidham's job, and he's going
Yeah.
to lead the
He's gonna
Pats.
stay here a while.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I
but-
see at least 1 or 2 years
I don't
from
think he
Cam
will.
Newton.
I think he'll stay at least a year or
only 1 or 2
two.
years.
At the very
He only
least,
signed a
he'll
1-year
stay.
deal. He did only sign for 1
Yeah,
year.
he did.
That should be mentioned.
think-
Yeah, I was like, I made a comment on Instagram. Some people like this, some people shit on me for. I was like, we lost Brady and got Newton. That's like losing your Mercedes for a Mitsubishi.
That's so true, dude. That's
I
facts.
was like,
But dude, I remember I even said that. Oh no. Someone else said in our group chat they were like, yeah, but I mean like Stidham is like a Saturn. That was so true too. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
Stidham,
kinda true.
Stidham
I
probably
miss-
is
I
a
miss
Saturn,
Garoppolo.
dude.
Stidham is young. I think the Pats still have their number one asset, which is Bill Belichick.
I was gonna say, like I think he has a plan thought out.
I
for it, 'cause
think he's
he
gonna
kind
play.
of-
I think
knows
he's gonna
what
start
doing.
Cam Newton, dude. I really think
I-
Cam
oh,
Newton's
he
taking that starting
definitely-
job.
I
No, he
think-
will. He will.
I think Cam Newton will probably stay for 2 to 3 years, and they'll keep Stidham, try to get Stidham to learn under Cam, and then they'll try to recruit new guys.
I was gonna say,
I think that
want
whole
them to
training
recruit
Stidham
Someone
someone.
can
thing-
beat Stidham out.
I just think that whole training Stidham thing isn't gonna end up like we think it is. I'm of the mindset
I mean,
that the
who knows?
reason
He could just
if
be
they were
like
super
a Brian
confident-
Hoyer or
if they were
something.
super confident in Stidham, I don't think they would have gone out and signed Cam Newton. At least in Stidham's current form. What I'm saying is this year, I don't think Stidham's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I
that's
don't think
true.
they would have brought in Cam
No,
Newton if they
I
thought
don't
he
see
was gonna be.
Stidham starting this
That's
year,
what I'm saying.
honestly. I just think Newton will bring a level of experience to Stidham or whatever new free agent or like low draft pick.
Yeah,
They
exactly. See, that's what I think is
bring-
gonna happen.
Like Cam Newton is going to bring experience to whatever quarterbacks the Pats bring in.
They're gonna
And
draft
I
one in
think
an early
that's why
pick.
they got Cam Newton. That was
Agreed.
the
I
whole-
kind of agree. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the options were. I wish they'd got someone a bit better, but I think our
I'm
biggest
fine with it.
mistake was losing Garoppolo a few years ago.
Dude,
But
Tom
like, I
Brady
don't know.
was
He
a.
couldn't predict the future.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
Tom
Belichick didn't
Brady.
want to lose Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's
People will
true.
disagree.
Well, no.
People will disagree with me. Tom Brady was a dumpster fire last year. He was an absolute dumpster fire of a
No, I
quarterback.
disagree.
People will
I
disagree with me.
disagree, but he wasn't great.
Dude,
It
I think
wasn't
that
a
He was
offense was
dumpster
terrible.
fire, dude.
I
he
think
That's
wasn't
fucking,
dumpster
I think
fire.
such
that
an
That's just voicing it.
exaggeration.
no, he was a
Their
dumpster
offense.
fire. For
Think
Tom
about it.
Brady,
He
it was a
was
dumpster
not.
fire
No,
year. That was Tom
he
Brady's
wasn't.
worst year under center.
Bro, we still did good though.
That was
He
hands
still
down
went
his
to the.
worst year under center. I think it's gonna be
Bro,
worse
it
this
was
year.
not a dumpster fire. Get the fuck out.
And I love
Yeah, say
Tom Brady,
dumpster
dude.
fire is a
Goat,
stretch. He wasn't
100%.
great,
But it was fucking trash. Like it was hard
No,
to
you
watch
know
on
what it is?
offense.
You know
bro.
what it
Yeah,
is?
It
Tom
was fucking
Brady
hard
used to be a
to watch.
quarterback who could take any guy on his roster and get the ball into his hands. Now Tom Brady is fucking 40 years old. He needs support.
43.
And what did the Pats not give him? The Pats did not give him support.
no, I agree.
Who did he
They-
have
I
for
don't think
receivers? Who
he
did
didn't
he
get
have?
great. Exactly.
I don't.
When
All I'm trying
relied
to
Brady's
say.
solely
going
on
to Tampa
Edelman.
Bay, Brady's going to Tampa Bay, and he has receivers, an O line, and a powerful D line there.
I was
Like,
gonna say all
I'm
we had
telling
was
you right
Edelman,
now.
and we didn't have great defense either in the last few
Tom
didn't
years.
have
Brady is not gonna have
anything
this
like-
amazing year people say he's gonna have. Maybe I'll
I
be
think-
looking
Yeah, I don't
back
think
on
he's
it
gonna be
wrong.
I think
amazing.
he's
I
going to
don't
have
know.
a playoff year next year for sure.
Nope, I disagree. I don't think
You
the
don't
Bucks
think
are
so?
going to the playoffs.
I think Tampa Bay is going to have a playoff year
Here's what I
next
also
year.
think. I think
They
Cam,
got rid of their
here's why
biggest problem.
I'm gonna be the pro
Jameis
Pats guy here.
interception.
I think Cam Newton can play on the same level as Tom Brady did last year, and this team can win 11 games
Yeah.
and make playoffs.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
think
yeah,
so?
for sure.
I do think
Yeah,
Cam Newton
probably.
was a
That-
good pick because
That
of
would
that.
be
I think-
you would be
I
implying
think
he'd be
Cam
playing
Newton
like
Because
will definitely take
The
pass
level
to play.
Tom Brady played at was so bad compared to what Tom Brady usually plays at. Like, because I'm not trying to be a Tom Brady hater, but I'm just trying to see last season for what it was for Tom Brady.
yeah,
at
but a
least.
dumpster fire acting as if he's
Yeah,
Yeah, for
Manziel or
Tom Brady
something.
caliber, dude, that
So-
last season was a dumpster fire. I don't care how you
I don't
try
think
and
Johnny
he
spin
was
it.
that
Manziel is a
bad.
dumpster
It was
fire,
just-
not Tom Brady.
I don't think he was that
Fucking
bad.
Tim
It's just
Tebow's a dumpster fire,
combined- Yeah, exactly. Tim Tebow's a
not
dumpster
Brady.
fire. With Brady last year, it's just like he's reaching a certain age, and on top of that, everyone he had a repertoire with was gone besides Edelman.
Just-
Edelman
yeah.
was the only weapon.
No, I
Literally,
agree with that
even
entirely.
some of the young guys that showed like amazing promise, like Malcolm Mitchell, even he was gone. Like he had no repertoire with any of the receivers. On top of that, he had age, and on top of that, his receivers were like subpar guys. He's going to Tampa Bay where he has an O-line. He also has top tier receivers.
We'll see. I still think Cam Newton's gonna end up bringing the Pats further than Tom Brady brings the Bucks.
I don't know,
That's
man.
kinda
The
what I
I
feel.
don't
Bucks
know
are,
about that. Yeah,
the Bucks are
It's a
good,
bold
man.
man.
The Bucks are pretty good.
That might be bold, but I
Yeah.
think you guys will come to see where I'm
The
coming
Bucks,
from.
the Bucks lost their main problem, which was Jameis interception.
I just
Yeah.
think the Pats defense was so stellar last year that I don't think. Like,
Well,
I
the
don't-
Pats will always make it to the playoffs just solely because
because we're in the
Bill
AFC East
Belichick.
and because
Bill
we have the fucking
Belichick knows
Jets
how to
and
make a
Bills in our
bunch of-
division.
Bill Belichick can take any group of defenders and make them fucking like unstoppable by the time
Yeah,
playoffs.
but it's also because we are again up against the Jets and Bills and Dolphins.
no,
not-
That's
the
a fair
Bills.
point.
I think the Bills are going to win the division this year. Pats are
think so?
probably going to be a wild card in.
No,
You
I
think
just
so?
don't agree with that. I think the
Dude,
Pats
the Bills
win.
were good last year. The Bills were really good last year.
They're pretty good.
And now Josh
I
Allen's
kind of
now
sympathize.
Josh
with
Allen's had a
the
year of
results.
experience too. I don't see them getting any worse.
Yeah.
Like, how could the Bills get worse? They just had a really good season.
I just think Cam Newton's gonna have the best year of his career this year. If
Oh,
I had to
I
guess.
actually,
So,
yeah, that.
I disagree with
better,
you.
You
there.
think better than when he went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no.
He-
Well, no, I shouldn't say that, but
I
statistically,
disagree
think,
with you 100%.
Statistically, I think Cam Newton's gonna have the best year of his career.
No,
You think
no,
better
but
than when he made it to the Super Bowl? Remember who was that team that they just destroyed in like the one of the
Was
final
it
games before
Denver?
the Super Bowl? No,
Oh
Denver,
no,
they
Denver
lost, dude.
lost. They lost
I'll
to
They
tell
were
you.
Denver.
I'll
playing
tell you
like the
why Cam
NFC
Newton
final.
will not have a
Seahawks.
career year because he's old and he's a running quarterback.
Yeah, dude, he
He
does that.
had his best years are behind him because he's mainly a runner, and he's been
Yeah,
laid
he
out
never
so
throws.
many fucking
Yeah,
times.
he
We'll
plays a
see if you
running
guys
back
are
as
right.
I
I
think
think,
now,
but
I
he's
quarterback.
don't think
huge,
he's.
dude. Cam Newton's like 6'5". He's like the most athletic quarterback in the league.
Yeah, Gronk was like fucking what? How big was Gronk? And look
Gronk
at
was
what
like
happened to him.
6'6".
Yeah,
That
but
dude
it's
got
not comparable
so fucking
because
Not
onto.
to play
Gronk
like
was like
290
super
or
awkward in his
some
body.
shit.
Like Cam's actually like Cam's like
Cam's
naturally like
gotten
built for that
laid out,
body.
dude. Cam has gotten laid the fuck
Got
out.
fucked up by Von Miller.
Yeah, like Cam has gotten. He's taken some hits, dude.
I guess we'll see, but I still kind of stand by what I said. I think Cam Newton's gonna have
He
a
also
career year.
rolled a car over on himself.
That
So
did happen. I
Dude,
do
he's a
remember that.
dipshit. Have you seen how he
yeah,
types on
I
Instagram?
saw that.
That
That
shit
was like the
pisses me
most
off, bro.
embarrassing thing. I still am hyped
So
for him
funny.
though. I think he's gonna do well on the Pats.
I,
you
I
know
hope
why?
he does
You know why he types fucked up? Because of all the hits he takes. Because he's a running 6 foot tall quarterback. That's why.
that's what I'm
Like
saying, bro.
that messes you up. Like it
Yeah.
breaks your
Nah, I
spine.
shit on him so much when he was on the Panthers because he would always run it.
All right,
No, he had
we're gonna
Well,
his
I mean, it
best
worked.
year. His best years were when he was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. He's
But remember the season after they made it to the Super
the
Bowl and
Pats might,
lost?
the
They
Pats will
tanked
bring
the
him
next season.
to the playoffs, but he's not gonna have one of the best years of his career. I don't think.
we're gonna wrap this topic up. I think there, and we're gonna go into stock picks of the week. What do you guys think?
Stock
So,
picks of the week.
Stock picks of the week. I think we got it all in there. I'm just kind of adopting my position as transitioner into new topics.
All right.
I'll be the
yeah.
douchebag who does it. I don't care. All right. So, Avi, do you want to go first? Do you have one? I got one already up.
Yeah. So, stock pick of the week. I chose Uber. I think so.
Again,
Uber is
Did he already
currently.
you did
I
pick
picked
Uber.
Uber for the episode we didn't publish.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
did you
that's
really?
why. Yes,
Oh, okay.
Continue.
we didn't publish Uber. So, Uber, it's currently trading at $31.06. The reason why I pick Uber is because it hasn't performed so well over the past year, but it's only 1 year old. It's a very young stock. And on top of that, if you were to look up the projected compounded assessed growth rate for ride sharing, it's between 15 to 20%. That's really high in terms of markets and industries of the modern age. One of the few industries that actually beats ride sharing is like robotics and AI. Robotics and AI is like a 25% current assessed growth rate. So like, and the thing about current assessed growth rate, even though it's not guaranteed, that's a really good sign for Uber. And even though it's new and it's risky, I'm banking on the fact that Uber has huge potential. And I see that everywhere I go because I hear professors talking about it and I see kids in my own family that when they turn 16, they're not looking forward to starting to drive. They just rather be like, hey, why don't I just Uber? It seems way easier. Like, it's a cultural thing. And on top of that, ride sharing is projected to grow exponentially by 2025. So I'm really into Uber right now.
All right. I'm gonna go with a different type of stock. I remember you mentioned Ericsson. I think it was either episode 1 or 2.
Those two.
Was that 2? So my pick this week is called Skyworks Solutions. They create semiconductors for mobile communication systems. So it's 5G semiconductors, and they create 51% of their revenue from Apple. So Apple's using them for semiconductor technology for 5G in their upcoming phones. And if you look at the 5-year on the stock, it's outrageously what has it grown? It started out at
What are they
100.
what are they currently trading at?
It's trading at 127.86, and it has a, let me see the dividend on it. And it has a $1.76 dividend per share. So it has a dividend yield of 1% or 1.4%. So yeah, that's the pick I would go with. I think that this stock is going to rise, uh, honestly, a shit ton in like the next 3 to 4 years because 5G technology is going to get pushed out. And since this is one of the main companies that Apple uses for semiconductors in iPhones, for the new ones, I think that the stock is going to do nothing but go up. If I had to guess. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. So we both recommended growth stocks. Sorry for you dividend investors, but I guess we're just feeling the growth
Oh no,
lately.
mine has a dividend. It was a $1.70 dividend somewhere
Oh,
around there.
really?
Yeah,
Okay, so they're an established company.
yeah. It's actually pretty
Yeah, but I
good
mean, a
good
one
stock.
dollar dividend, it's not. It's really more you're banking on growth
You're
than you
banking
are the
on growth.
dividend.
Agreed on that
It's
front.
$127 a share, and you're getting $1. Like,
But in the last, it's gone up from 2014 where it was trading at $20. It's now trading at 127.86. So in
damn.
6 years, it's quadrupled.
Well, I think that probably coincides with the growth of Apple now at this
I don't
point.
know if they were making semiconductors, but they are making the new ones for 5G, which is why I see this stock continuing to grow.
Okay.
That's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think, oh yeah, sorry, lessons of the week, our next topic. Those are your
Now it's time
stock picks
for
of the week.
lessons of the
You guys should
week.
really listen to us on stocks. Anyone listening, like, come on. If you're not investing, like, just take stocks that, like, Uber will make you money, Skyworks will make you
Literally,
money. Like,
we've
listen to
also
what we say.
recommended, besides growth stocks, we've also recommended safe dividend stocks that
Yeah.
like anyone can just get free fucking money out
Commodities,
of
like, we've
at
mentioned
this point.
a million different stocks that if you just plowed your money into and left it in an account and came back in 5 years, you're going to make
Well,
money.
we mentioned six different stocks
Like, you know what I'm saying.
to be specific, but we at some point we will have mentioned
I'm just
at
saying,
least like
take our advice
a
now.
lot.
You'll make money in the future.
Yeah, take our advice now. It'll probably pay off. Probably pay off eventually. We know our shit.
We do. All right. Lessons of the week.
Lessons of the week. Who wants to start?
I'll start. All right, so my lesson of the week sounds like something that's simple. It's not really always simple though. Something that's really like hard for some people to do, but it's really beneficial if you do it. Is just like plan ahead for things. Plan your like schedule ahead. Try and like even if you don't think it's worth making a schedule, kind of helps because what you'll have a lot of times happen is a lot of stuff will pile up at once and you'll have not much time to do any of it. That's happened to me so many times, and I'm someone who like always has to be doing something or I'll get bored and I'll go crazy. So, but then the next thing I know sometimes is I'll have so much stuff going on and I'll have to cancel some things on people, and I don't like to do that. So, it's always nice to try and plan your time out efficiently and kind of organize it. And it's good for your mental health too, actually. It is something that's
Yeah.
it's a good habit to get into, and it really kind of helps you feel better about yourself because you'll never feel like you're like, I mean, of course, planning time where you can relax and chill too. That's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying if you know you have stuff to do, it helps to kind of organize it and plan it out because otherwise, chaos will ensue.
Oh yeah. Time management, one of the best skills that can get you through college and successfully.
Agreed.
Time management and emails.
These emails.
I'll go next. I do have a lesson of the week. My lesson is know your options. So, when I was looking over my schedule and I went into the pay portal for Suffolk University, I was listed for 13 credits, but there was one class that hadn't been registered yet. Um, so I like went into the portal and registered for that class, and I realized that when I had 13 credits, it was still listing me as a full-time student, and Suffolk was paying me money. Like I was overpaying apparently, which I wasn't paying at all. I hadn't even made a payment on the account yet. So like I was basically going to Suffolk for free at that point. But when I added that, it went over like 3 or 4 grand. I think it was like 3,500. So what I did instead is I kept the 13 credits at Suffolk, and then I'm taking 2 classes at MCC this fall. So and the
Okay.
MCC classes add up to like 1,700. So I'm saving, what is that, like 1,800 that I could have been spending at Suffolk instead, and I'm taking
Taking them
classes,
online, right?
taking them online, and I had to
Yeah,
get them
that makes sense.
pre-approved by Suffolk. But know your options, use your resources, and never be ignorant about something because it can cost you money at the end of the day. That's it.
It's a good lesson.
That's smart.
So, my lesson of the week is sometimes you have to sacrifice the things you really feel like you want to do. So, I actually had an opportunity this week to go hang out with my cousin, and it was a guaranteed party week. He said literally this week he said he was going to be gone from his house after this week for a couple of weeks, and it took every ounce of my spirit to say like no to that, because like this whole week he wanted to hang out with his friends and party and just hang out. But when he told me about that, all I could think about was like, right now I have an internship. I also need to keep working out. Like, this is not the time I can slow down on the things I've committed to. I need to follow through on my commitments right now. And if I go party this week, there's no way I'm following through on the commitments I made. So sometimes it's good to know when you need to say no. Know yourself so you can figure out when no is a necessity.
That was good. That was a great
Yeah.
Yeah.
episode. I think we learned a lot this time, and I think the audience will enjoy that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that was a great episode.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We're gonna sign off there.
All right.
Episode
Peace.
3.